Come on, it's not like anyone's gonna see us.
We're going to hell. I was only kidding.
You can come to Pokken School.
Shut up.
Braixen, one of those Pokemon that I would definitely categorize as pretty neat. Though in the years since its debut, I've really come to like it even more. I would normally say hear me out, but that phrase has been ruined recently, so for now let's just chat about Braixen. The second stage of a Fire-type starter Pokemon evolution line, the story obviously begins with the reveal of the Kalos Pokemon trio. At face value, a fox, a frog, and a, rodent seems very promising. Absolutely nobody had any fears about a cute little mammal Pokemon being revealed in the same way they do nowadays. But it's funny that while the Froakie evolution line ends with Greninja, one of the most popular Pokemon of all time, and Chespin's final evolution Chestnut is pretty cool, though everyone wants to forget about Quilladin, Braixen is the most popular of the Fire evolution line, much more so than its final evolution Delphox. I think that they both have some pretty strong designs, but I feel the main complaint was that it just looked kind of awkward. And I sort of agree, but I don't think this is a bad design. I think that when comparing both of these Pokemon, Braixen has more of an interesting silhouette and personality. If you're looking at just the 2D art, then that statement might sound a bit confusing because Braixen is just standing still. It doesn't even have its wand in its hand, while Delphox is leaning forward ready to cast a spell. And so it's worth noting that X and Y were the very first 3D Pokemon games. And so most of the time you would see Braixen in battle as a 3D model with its accompanying animations, while Delphox's idle stance and silhouette in 3D aren't very exciting. Overall, the final evolutions of the Kalos starters look really cool next to each other, and I love their theming of being different fantasy RPG classes. Though I find it so interesting that while Delphox is a more European idea of a witcher wizard fitting their depictions of foxes and appropriate for the Kalos region, Braixen is just a magical anime girl. Yes, a whole genre of anime I know nothing about aside from when other shows reference the tropes like the whole transformation sequence. Braixen has the appropriate upright stance and height, and as opposed to Delphox's long flowing fur that resembles a cloak, Braixen's fur curling out at the sides the way it does is meant to look like a frilly skirt. Again, reminiscent of magical girls. I think that's one of the reasons that Braixen has stayed so popular ever since Pokemon X and Y. It's a Pokemon emulating the style and mannerisms of an extremely marketable genre. The funny thing is that I didn't notice or even think about this comparison until Pokken Tournament. Ah yes, the Pokemon fighting game that fans have been dreaming of, at least until we realized it required skill beyond the usual turn-based combat. I did really love this game when it first came out. Casually. Even though it has a pretty small character roster considering the hundreds of Pokemon that existed at the time, it has a good amount of diversity in the Pokemon that were chosen. So yeah, Braixen is pretty cool in this game. Like I said, I wouldn't call myself any good at this game, but I had fun playing through the story as well as with friends or even online once in a while. The two Pokemon I played most were Garchomp and Braixen. And let me tell you, Braixen is a lot of fun. Being able to just blast fireballs toward the opponent and using psychic attacks here and there was such a cool contrast to punching and kicking. And I love how each Pokemon is given so much personality in their animations not only before and after, but during the battle with each move, and especially with the sync moves that play out a full little animation. And yeah, all of this is what made me realize Braixen was just a magical girl. Obviously, another reason Braixen has remained so popular is because Pokemon themselves pushed it the most out of the evolution line. In the Pokemon X and Y anime, Serena started off her journey with a Fennekin, which eventually evolved into a Braixen, and it stayed that way for the rest of the series. Of course, Serena herself has become one of the more popular characters from the modern Pokemon anime, so it makes sense that her signature Pokemon would also become popular. X and Y is one of the series that I've watched in its entirety and is some of my favorite stuff of the Pokemon anime. Eventually, I'll probably do like an entire series review or something, but for now, I'll say that it has a great first 2 episodes and a great climax with a lot of fun in between. And yeah, Serena as a character was one of the most important aspects of the series, so seeing her participate in Pokemon showcases alongside Fennekin and eventually Braixen was done well, and it serves as a good secondary core to the series. And Braixen is important to all of this because it was right beside her the whole time. They failed together in the beginning and then triumphed together later on. And more recently in the trading card game during Silver Tempest, we got this gorgeous trainer gallery full art that has both Serena and Braixen just hanging out and vibing. I know this is technically the video game version of Serena and not the anime version, but I am still so happy that this card exists and that I pulled it. Also, if you're wondering, that one clip you see posted everywhere is fake. Like, you can literally just go watch the episode and figure that out. The original clip is from Pokemon X and Y episode 19, and the edited animation was done by a DeviantArt user. And that other clip you see posted everywhere is obviously fake too. It uses footage of Braixen from the anime, and the audio comes from episode 11 of freaking Sword Art Online. The context is that Asuna is asking Kirito for a piggyback ride.
Hey, carry me on your shoulders.
Aren't you a little old for that, though?
It doesn't matter how old I am. Come on, it's not like anyone's gonna see us.
Y'all nasty. Though going back to Delphox, like many others, I thought it was just okay during the days of X and Y. But the more time has gone by, the more I really appreciate its design. While Pokemon would revisit the witch concept in later games, I feel that Delphox really nailed it and was able to blend the fox appearance in a way that was really cool. Nowadays, I might say that I actually like both of these Pokemon equally, and that each one fits so well into their part of the evolutionary line. And that is some high praise coming from me considering my past with witches. But I was preparing to start posting in June, and I was like, oh yeah, get excited. Oh no. Really, Delphox's overall appearance reminded me of Sophie the Swamp Witch from Neopets, and how's that for a deep cut reference? Dang, this design really does go hard. I've never really been the kind of person to say that there should be a bunch of new types in Pokemon, but it still feels weird having Delphox being a psychic type, rather than like a magic or mystic type or whatever. And really the fact that it only has Pokédex entries for Generation 6 doesn't give us a whole lot to work with aside from being able to see into the future. So I really hope we eventually get to see more in spin-off games or other medias that builds on Delphox's lore. You could definitely draw a lot from Delphox's real-life inspirations, but I'm always more interested in how Pokemon live and exist in their own world. But this definitely feels like the year for Delphox, or at least where things will begin to get even more interesting. Between the recent Community Day and Pokemon Go and the upcoming Terra raids, there's at least something for these Pokemon. I don't know, man, I just like cute foxes. I think their tails are so big and fluffy and cool. So let me know which one you like better, Braixen or Delphox. And let me know what you like to see for these Pokemon going forward. Anyway, I almost got dangerously close to this being a spooky video. I don't plan on making many of those until later this year. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, especially the great Gators, Brandon Mork, Cheeseburger Lasers, Green Topaz 213, Justin R, Cosmo Zero, Meme Supreme, Michaela, Mochizuki Yoru, Nomad Nobi, Quago, Taijirai, Volity, and Pastel Blood. If you would like to support, get your name shouted out here as well as access to emotes for comments, live streams, and sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes. Anyway, this has been GatorX. I'll catch you all later.
The Kalos region, so peaceful and serene.
Hey, Kalos region!
Until now.
Ash from Palatown is finally here!
New region!
It was so amazing!
New friends!
That's right.
New Pokemon! You can't miss Ash's latest adventure!
I'm here to help!
Pokemon the Series XY! Season premiere! Saturday, January 18th, 8:30, 7:30 Central. Only